Every afternoon, in the heart of the city, the old brick building on Devon Street would tremble with bass. Neighbors complained about the noise, but no one could deny that the woman in apartment 4B had a kind of ritual to it. The music always started just after sunset, pulsing through the walls until midnight. Then, one autumn evening, the music stopped. Not faded, stopped. The next day, and the next. Nothing but silence. People thought she'd moved out, but the light still glowed behind her curtains. It was only when a tall man appeared carrying boxes, laughing as he fumbled with the keys, that anyone understood. From then on, the building knew her by the soft sound of boiling kettles and murmured conversation instead of rattling windows. The house was the same. The woman was the same. Only the silence was new. Freud believed nothing in our behavior is random. Behind every action lies a thought or feeling we might not dare to say out loud. This insight forms the foundation of his theory of psychoanalysis, a method for uncovering the unconscious processes that shape our actions. Psychoanalysis rests on the idea that hysterics and neurotics are deeply affected by painful experiences from their distant past, which they recall with pathological vividness to the detriment of their adaptation to current reality. For Freud, much of mental life operates outside conscious awareness. Experiences that evoke intense conflict, especially in early life, may be repressed, yet they remain active, seeking expression in disguised forms. These repressed wishes and memories subsequently find their way into symptoms, dreams, slips of the tongue, and other mistakes, which can be analyzed to reveal the underlying truth. To understand how to read a person's mind, we first need to understand the process of repression. This is because repression is one of the main ways in which the mind conceals its true contents. According to Freud, repression begins with the arousal of a wish that sharply contradicts the other desires of an individual and incapable of being reconciled with the ethical, aesthetic, and personal pretensions of their personality. This wish is known as ego-dystonic wish, an unacceptable wish, or antagonistic instinctual impulse. One example of such a wish is observed when a woman forms an unconscious libidinal attachment to her sister's husband. This wish stands in direct opposition to her conscious aim to respect her sister, preserve the integrity of familial bonds, and maintain her self-image as a moral person. The likely outcome is that this instinctual impulse is subjected to repression, thereby being banished from conscious awareness. Freud alludes the events culminating in this repression to the conflict between the id and the ego, with the ego fortified by the prohibitive authority of the superego, mobilizing intense affective reactions of moral disgust against the id's unacceptable demand. This defensive operation, while successful in excluding id's immoral wish from consciousness, does not extinguish its psychic energy. While in the unconscious, the repressed wish persists, seeking alternative channels for expression, which continue to exert a disturbing influence upon consciousness. These alternative channels for expression are often disguised and symbolic in nature. In such cases, the original wish, deprived of its direct representational form, undergoes distortion through the mechanisms of displacement and condensation, thereby rendering it unrecognizable to the conscious mind. For instance, the woman might display sudden irritability towards her sister's husband, an irrational annoyance that serves as a defensive reaction. By treating him with coldness or unwarranted harshness, she both diminishes the likelihood of gratifying the impulse and reduces the risk of others detecting her true feelings. In another form of disguise, she might direct overcompensating warmth and affection towards her sister, expressed through heightened attentiveness, exaggerated demonstrations of loyalty, and frequent verbal praise. This reaction formation operates as a way to prove to herself and to others that she is devoted to her sister, while simultaneously concealing the forbidden attraction beneath the surface. Having understood the process of repression, we can now examine how repressed material manifests indirectly, producing observable patterns that offer insight into what lies hidden within the psyche. In my previous example of the woman who played loud music each evening, the behavior could be seen as more than just a preference for volume. It was a symbolic act, a form of emotional discharge that masked an underlying need. If, as Freud proposed, the loud music represented an unacknowledged loneliness or yearning for connection, then its sudden cessation upon the arrival of her partner suggests that the original conflict had been resolved. The habit wasn't random. It was the unconscious mind's compromise formations, a socially acceptable way to satisfy a forbidden or uncomfortable wish without confronting it directly. By noting when patterns begin, change, or vanish, we gain access to the coded language of the psyche, allowing us to read not only the actions themselves, but the hidden forces that shape them. This skill is just as useful with strangers as it is with people we know well. Even in a brief encounter, small but telling cues can reveal what someone carries beneath the surface. Let's say you meet a stranger and she gives you a nervous laugh at the wrong moment. Not the kind of laugh that matches the tone of the conversation, but one that feels just slightly out of place. Maybe you've just mentioned a topic like career changes, and she chuckles before quickly changing the subject. On the surface, it's easy to dismiss this as a quirk. But if you're paying attention, that laugh is a clue. In Freud's framework, this is often where a hidden story peeks through. The aroused wish might be a desire to share something personal. Perhaps she was recently let go from a position in a way that left her feeling humiliated. The conflict is that revealing this information could expose her bitterness she'd rather keep buried. So, her unconscious steps in. The nervous laugh becomes a shield. It softens the moment, replaces the real emotion she's repressing, and quietly says, "Let's not go there," all without her having to reject the topic outright. To read her mind in this situation, you don't need to interrogate her. Instead, you note the mismatch between what triggered the laugh and the laugh itself. Mark it mentally as a place where something important might be hiding. If the same reaction appears when the theme of career change comes up again, you've found a pattern. And in Freud's view, patterns like these are the traces the unconscious leaves behind, which should guide you towards what the person is protecting, avoiding, or longing for.